My first question to you is, of course, we know that you are well vested in different areas of life when it comes to writing. But we are just going to be focusing on one of the books that you wrote on democracy, beyond democracy, that is. So
many of the things which have been glorified because we live in the age of democracy, just like 200 or 300 or 500 years ago, people live in the age of monarchy or despotism and all that. People believe in that. Just like in the older days, people believed in the medieval Europe. They believe in God. Whatever they do is always in the name of God. For some now they still do it, but much less. So we're living in that age. And because of that, many of us, in that sense, are trapped into this kind of thinking. And many of my ideas, a vision, is to ask people to think outside the box, to change what you believe, and to see that many of the things that we are believing in will not last for a long time. That is history, unfortunately, but history will always move on and change. And by the way, I also said in my book, even post-democracy will not last forever either. It will be evolve itself into different forms over time.
On a lighter note, what is your main reason for being in Namibia?
My main reason is to discover humanity on the ground. I have been in more than 100 different countries now, not just 1, 2, or 3, and 4, in all continents. The reason for me is that I want to understand humanity not just by reading a book, which I could do very easily in a library, but I just want to go to each of them, live with the local people, and understand life, and see maybe I can be enlightened too in the process by different cultures. And that is a blessing to me, because I have discovered so much about the world in a way that the media had not spoken much about in each country. So to get out of the box is something that you can do like that. And that's one of the ways to open your box, to open your mind, and to see humanity in a different light. And that is something that I have done. I'm just very blessed that I have done that. And in Namibia is one of my spots.
What have you so far been able to identify in Namibia when it comes to humanity?
I have been here only for a few days so far, but I can see, because I have been in Africa for a few years now. I have been in more than 20 different African countries already, in North Africa, Western Africa, Eastern Africa, Central Africa, and Southern Africa, which means that I have been in all of them. And I can see that something is very interesting about the notion of Black or Africans, because I also understand that there are certain Black rationality, African way of life, which is very different from the Western ones. And in that sense, many of the stereotypes and the discourse on Africa turns out to be very, very false and ideological. And there's other dimension about way of life which the Western world has been dismissing. But I think that is just the opposite of the West, that the West doesn't want to see in itself. What is happening in Africa in many ways is something that the West does not have. And what is happening in Europe in a way is something that Africa does not have. So each of them can be complementary in a certain way, but each of them is also a reflection of this uniqueness that each of them try to dismiss as something not desirable is its own area. So if you grew up in the West, as I have, and you will come to learn that the Western discourse, the Western understanding of life and culture is the ultimate, is something that everyone else should copy. If you go to Africa, you must have the same understanding, but in a different direction, but that's also a reflection of the African way of life. So, but this cannot be totally complementary to each other. In many ways, they are conflicting, but they are the human diversity that we need to accept.
Doctor, let me thank you so much for your vast knowledge and the time you've made to conduct this interview. We appreciate it.
Okay, thank you for your invitation.